you. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Good day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you for joining us at the Charter for Compassion Women and Girls sector within the Gender Partnerships deep dive into this imperative partnership with self. Today, we're going to bring our presence into moving into this grand we, that work that we're all doing in compassion in this beautiful space that we bring ourselves to. It's imperative to understand and have agency over who the me is that's coming into the we. And so today that's the invitation for you all. And I'd just like to thank you for showing up today. We'll spend this beautiful hour together and open it up at the end for 30 minutes of conversation and dialogue, and just in ease and grace and flow at the end. So we will be sharing some depth of ourself in some breakout rooms a little bit later, and then coming back also and blending that into our bigger group. So I hope that you've brought some comfortable clothes today, maybe something to journal with, a glass of sustenance, water, whatever is desirable to you. We're going to be doing some movement. And so if you have space around you, and if not, please take this time right now while we just kind of go into this intro to settle yourself into those things. And I want to just share with you some concepts that we're going to move through today. First, presence and awareness without having to do anything with it, right? And this is an invitation to receptivity, not something that we're asking you to do or requiring you to do. I want to make note that this is a safe space for you to be exploratory, to be you and not what the world has expectations of you, but truly you. We may be presencing to emotions that might feel like sadness, that might feel like grief, that might feel like happiness or joy, or might feel neutral. We're using an intentional language today to create and co-create how we wish to be in this world in our sovereign selves. These past couple of years have given us permission to stop and pause. In fact, they've required us to stop and pause right now. And so the next step, what's our next step after the stop and the pause, and where do we go? To remind and remember our innateness, right? So connecting to our intuition, and taking this idea of waking up to the world into the next step of rising into the world. And so this imperative partnership with self is the fuel for that rising. And so we welcome you here today, and I would like to introduce my co-host today, Hyacinth Myers. Hyacinth, can you come on and say good morning?
Oh, thank you, Donna. Good morning and good evening. So I can see three of my lovely UK ladies here as well. Oh my God, that was just so lovely. And I'm not even going to ruin it by saying anything else right now. What I'm going to do is just me and Donna, we're quite intuitive women. So we've spoken about what we want to do, but we're actually going to go with flow and just like source energy, really. So I just hope it's a really good experience for you. And yeah, that's it. I don't want to say anything else. Still nervous, still nervous.
Thanks, darling. Well, good. We're here to be in our feelings, right? So be nervous. Be nervous till you're not nervous anymore, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with being nervous. So yeah, well, what I would like to do is, so I should introduce myself as well. I'm Donna Mills. I'm one of the co-leads for the Women and Girls sector here at the Gender Partnerships with the Charter for Compassion International. And actually, we have a beautiful core circle of women who create these events and are so cellularly committed to the work that we do. And I want to recognize them here as well, Brisha. And Brenda and Sarah, and then our beautiful support, Marcella and Mimi with the Charter for Compassion. They're here helping us with technology, and Tatina and Vicky and Tanya, I hope I'm saying your name right, and Stephanie, welcome and thank you. I hope you have a beautiful time here with us as we like sink into our bodies. So I want to so now that we've oriented to why we're here, I'm going to invite you into a space to center into yourself. And so I'm standing, I'm at my little standing desk. So I have my feet on the ground, and wherever you are, whether you're standing or sitting, you're welcome to, oh, I got your name right. Great. I welcome you to bring your awareness to the space between your feet and the earth, wherever it is and however and wherever you are. And I want you to think about, like, even if it feels like your feet are touching the ground, I'm inviting you to imagine a sacred space between your feet and the ground, as if maybe there's effervescence and iridescence that you've never sensed into before. And perhaps there is some sensation starting to build there. For me in my body right now, I can feel a bit of vibratory energy between my feet and the earth now, because I've created almost an otherworldly understanding of the minutia of energy running between my feet and the earth. And so if that is something that you're experiencing, I'm inviting you to feel how that expands, not only into the flesh of your feet, but also into the soil of the earth. And so that little bit of energy that started as awareness between your feet and the earth is now becoming this embodiment, this energy body that's growing and expanding, reaching down into the earth like the mycelium, and allowing that energy in the mycelium to blend and braid and twist and dig deeper into the earth, allowing your energy to go as deep as possible, as wide, as vast, to encompass the entire roundness. This beautiful energetic web, and it moves just the way you need it to move. And then breathing deeper into that matrix that you are creating within and around and through this beautiful earth, and sensing into this center. If you find a heartbeat, if you find a central chord that feels a space that of creation, maybe the central core to the earth where everything comes out in all directions in this very circular and orbital space that's being created on this beautiful planet that we live on. And just sitting in this space, bringing the awareness into your breath. If we've moved from our body into the earth with our bodies, but also coming back in an awareness to your breath in a harmony with this energy that you've created with your connection to our earthly body and your earthly home. There are billions of cells in our bodies, and like my friend Brenda, my beloved sister here, has shared with us the concept of things that we lock away in cells. So in our body, in our millions and billions of cells that are in our body, what's locked away in ours, and what can we access? What can we open up and receive as wisdom? What can we open up and recognize as its full usefulness and can now be released and composted? Everything is energy that begins and runs a cycle and then completes. And so maybe we have things in our cells that have begun, run its cycle, and can now be complete and released and compost. And perhaps there's places in your cells that hold gold you've never accessed before. And so as you begin to drop your breath down into the soles of your feet and actively pull that energy of the earth matrix that you created up through your bones, your plantar fascia, through your ankles, beginning to become aware of and listen and hear and sit in a place of observation and neutrality to what your cells are saying as you draw your energy through your own flesh. Across the top of your foot and into your ankles. You might even want to move your toes. You might want to move your ankles. And begin drawing that energy slowly across the front of your legs, around the back of your calves. Just letting whatever is flowing into your mind and into your body, into your awareness, be fully present. This act of feeling, sensing, moving out of our eyes and our ears and what we see and hear of the ecstatic energy that is current on our planet right now. In what space can we find the deep safety of being able to be honest, alive, in truth with our feelings instead of pulling in and holding steady and solid? What could we do if we were more mobile? If we were even more mobile in just our cellular selves. And drawing that energy up through your knees, maybe rolling your ankles and mobilizing your knees. Begin to feel how the energy that we've pulled up from the earth moves through the joints, keeps them lubricated, viscous, fluid, like the rivers and the lakes and the oceans. By pulling, what elements might you be feeling through your body as you are noticing and sensing? When we close our eyes and quiet our sounds, those are two senses. There's so much more than we even know we have access to. Vibrations, effervescence, warmth. And drawing that energy through your upper legs into the pelvic bowl. Opening your self-awareness and moving into personal agency. This moment on earth is a deep invitation to co-creating a new story and a new narrative, of deciding what our narratives are, of what our language will be with each other. Everything has changed and everything has shifted, and it is our opportunity, our invitation, and our imperative to co-create our presence, our relationship, our felt senses, our connections to each other, to be in curiosity and wonder like a child, and ponderings and receptivity. There's a biblical quote that when you stop talking, God will speak. But as long as you're talking, God will not speak. And so, in whatever your own spiritual alignment is, do you hear? Are you listening? Is there an invitation? Are you in a loop of doing and reacting? Or is there an invitation to pause, thoughtfulness, response? This is a reconnecting to self, to realign, to presence, moving from directionless to choice and definitiveness. I'm bringing your energy into you and behind your navel. Feeling warmth in your belly, in your pelvic bowl, in your deeply creative center. From this space in your navel, I invite you to create, recognize, receive your own golden essence. We are whole and holy beings, fully whole and fully holy the minute we arrived on this planet. And in this space behind your navel is truth. You might want to bring your hands to your navel. You might want to create a circular, comforting, caressing, rubbing, discovering of your own belly, of your own navel, of your own goldenness. And then receiving that gold and letting it just flow all the way down your lower body where we've already been into the earth, connecting this golden effervescent energy, flow and vibration and recognition, recognizing, remember to bring back into this body and drawing that beautiful energy up into and through your heart. My heart just beat at these beautiful 3. Here, I feel that gold in your belly. I feel that gold in my belly. I feel that draw it up into me so that I can be fuller. And from my heart to my back, my low back, my hips, my navel, my torso beginning to fill and expand. Again in vibration, again in recognition, again in receptivity, again in new narratives of my own glory, your own glory, our own glory. And into your breath, the fullness of your lungs, feeling the heart beating deeper, more intentful, drawing that energy through your throat and up and over the crown of your head, and allowing that golden essence and iridescence and energy, presence and recognition to flow from your crown into and around your beautiful brain, breathing into that small space between your brain and the inside of your skull. Noticing the left and right hemisphere, rebalancing. And flowing down the back side through your brainstem into your vagus nerve, the largest nerve in your body, the size of your thumb, moving down, protected by your spinal structures. This beautiful nerve looks like the Mississippi and all the tributaries coming off of it, moving into your throat, moving into your third eye, moving into your heart and your lungs and all of your vital organs. Vital, not non-vital, vital organs. And how it eases down from your crown through your tailbone, like petting a cat from its head to its tail. And that lovely purr and ease and grace. And as you sense into that ease and grace moving through that beautiful vagus nerve, back down the backside of your hips and your glutes, your hamstrings, through your Achilles, and back to the soles of your feet and into the roots and the mycelium of the planet again. And we have connected, drawn into the earth, brought it up through our body, come up to our crown. And with ease and grace, reconnected, the circle back into the earth. Your invitation is to just move through your body and bring breath to any place that has not touched yet. To feel that into the expansion of your cellular awareness, your cellular activation. Where you're creating partnerships in this world so that we may release and compost domination. We're creating safety so that we can release and compost violence in this world. And we're doing this by remembering that we are sacred, whole, and holy beings on this planet. And when we can remember that, we can use that to inform who we are as holy beings in a fleshly body, in an earthly experience, and to find direction and truth, and direction and definitiveness and sovereignty. And so we're going to complete this exercise, and we're going to sit in about 3 minutes of silence.
And I just want you to take a few deep breaths, just to find yourself back in the space that we're in, actually together. And actually, when you're coming back to this space, I want you to reflect on a question, really. And the question's for you to journal for a few moments before we go into shares. And the question is, what is it in me that needs to be integrated? So just think about what it is we've already been through. What is it in me that needs to be integrated? I'm going to give you about 3 minutes or so to write that. And do any kind of stretching if you need to stretch, yawn, whatever it is. And you've got about 1.5 minutes left.
Welcome back, Tanya. We're doing a little bit of journaling, post meditation, and some body movements if you want. Stretching, breathing. Oh, yes. Hyacinth put the journal question in the chat. What is it in me that needs integrating? Where am I? And who am I? What am I? What? I don't know how to form that question. I wanted to say, what am I not? Maybe that's the way I wanted to form it. Yeah.
Oh, where do I fit? Where do I fit now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what am I creating? Discovering. In about just about 30 more seconds, we're going to move into some breakout rooms, either 2 of us or 3 of us, and share with each other what might be presence, right? This is a felt sense. This is an in the body experience. And so your invitation when you share is to, I noticed, I'm wondering, I pondered, I recognized, I remembered about myself, and maybe avoiding, I think. So what other spaces of felt sense can you be with, and how? Feel free to share whatever's happening in your life, what transition you might have moved through in the last 2 years, the last 18 months, maybe the last 10 years, and where you, what your reflections of this space was, in how we are co-creating this new language and this wonder. So, Marcel, will you take us into these breakout rooms, please?
Welcome back.
Hi. Are we all back? Yes, we are. We're missing 2.
Welcome back. See y'all.
Nice to meet Vicki and Stephanie. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, Betsy is part of our core circle of development goddesses.
Yep, wonderful.
As is Brescia.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
So I would just like to
And Tina. Nice to meet you, Tina.
I'd just like to open up the floor now, and to anybody that wants to share how the experience for them, or how your pair shares went, and what came out of your journaling. So we're just gonna open it for anybody that wants to share and be present to
I'll go. You know, I've been reading a book called Hidden Wholeness, The Journey to Integrated World, and it's focused on soul and role. And it was interesting with my partner and I how we're looking at ourselves, but it always goes to how is it working with others. And I really loved the question of what's not integrated with me, because I'm constantly trying to work me into a role with society, and I don't know yet if my soul is integrated as it needs to be yet. So, wonderful question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vicki. Who did you partner with, Vicki?
I had lovely Stephanie.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Vicki, I absolutely love what you just said. And would you put the name of that book down in the chat?
Sure.
That just resonated with me so strongly, because as soon as the question was asked, the first thing that came up for me was all my roles. Oh, okay, well, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an artist, I'm an activist, you know, all of these things. And I listed all of those things. And when I got down to the bottom, I wrote true essence, divine self. It was like I had to get through all of those roles before I could get to the soul. And anyways, I would love to read more and explore more. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Risha, did you have more to say about did you want to like continue from that place?
No, I'm complete right now. Thank you.
Excellent.
Well, I'll share. I did love the question, especially at this time in my life. So the answer, what in me needs to be integrated? The wholeness of the past experiences into a story that that feels whole, for it is the holy journey that has created this now moment. And what's been occurring in my life is a great amount of deep review back to 2017. And then my life has drastically changed since then. And there's been this integration of new ways to be completely present and whole, and my brain has operated in a way that it doesn't necessarily track time. Really been called into being present over and over again. And yet this review of the past and a clear signal not to project into the future at all. I haven't done that for years. No outcome. And always, just bringing that past to present. And so now it's like recognizing that past honestly isn't past, it's present in me. So that when it comes up and, is activated, how am I responding in the now? How does this feed me? And, feed into every moment. And so it's that complete cellular connection with what is alive in me right now. And everything from the past is alive in me. There is no separation. And I get to choose in each moment, how does this serve the moment? I'm complete.
Thank you, Brenda. That was beautiful. And Brenda and I partnered. She was my partner. And as she was sharing that with me, something came through me that I wrote down, like this sweet epiphany, as she was speaking about that was then, this is now, right? And then moving into this wholeness. And what I wrote down is we are the wholeness of ourselves and our experiences from whatever age today back to the time that you've landed in flesh, right? We are the wholeness of ourselves and our experiences, all of it. And here was the God part that came in for me. And we get to recognize, honor, grieve, and work through the pain, the trauma, the dis-ease, the discomfort, the disconnection of wherever we've been in our golden essence and nature, as that's part of our experience. We don't have to stay in the pain of it. As we integrate and process that wholeness of ourselves, like I can stand here and kind of look back at myself 55 years and go, oh, that hurt. That was amazing. That was a, whoa, I'll never do that again. This, that, all the stuff, and be in grace with myself and understanding that I have always been where I've always been, doing the things I've always been doing with the wisdom and the acknowledgement and the awareness that I have. And thankfully, in my life, I have been given opportunity to evaluate myself, to see myself, to be in this integrative space with myself, and to recognize now, oh yeah, I can actually presence, just like Brenda was talking about, I can actually presence to each and every day and each and every moment, because I have integrated all of that as yes, that's all me. That's all me. I don't want to make any of that wrong or anything. I just want to say yes, process through it, kiss it like I would hold my own child self, bless it like I would bless my own child self and my adult self, and then say, okay, here I am today and here I am right now. And that is how I can be so cellularly connected to right now. I can look into the future and I can imagine it. I don't want to future it though. I don't want to create 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 months from now. I can look at it and say, okay, maybe. And my action and my sovereignty is like right here in this centered place. My self-centered, not selfish, not self-absorbed, self-centered. And then guess what? I find my holiness there. I find my holiness there. And when I find my holiness there, I know that every person on the screen I'm looking at is also in their holiness. Maybe they know, maybe they don't know. But I'm here to remind them just through my own presencing with them. And I'm complete.
May I share?
Please.
Thank you. So, I mean, I just totally love everything that's been shared so far. I really loved and resonated with what you just said, Donna. And I was paired with Hyacinth, which was beautiful kismet that happened because Hyacinth and I know each other very well. And it was beautiful to be able to share the space with her, particularly because it's actually Hyacinth facilitating. A lot of the time when we share space, it's myself facilitating. So it was lovely being on the other side. And Hyacinth being bossy with me, which is wonderful, in terms of getting me to kind of get down to business. But kind of my area, my heart's work is all around self-love. So it's all around getting that connection to love through yourself and therefore connection to your soul and feeling that wholeness, right? And loving all of it, because everything that has preceded, everything that's even to come, if you have that connection with love in yourself and therefore through yourself to what love is, which is essentially what we all know to be the highest source, right? So when you were saying that, I thought it's so true. When we find that wholeness, when we find that trust in ourselves, for me, everything else comes out as a byproduct in terms of all of the other things that we seek as human beings, is, you know, and then also the things that no longer matter, that do just seem to just drop away. And agree, it's a lot of the work that I do quite often. And so for me during this time, what came out was like I noticed kind of an old weight that I had, an old story that I had told myself from a few years ago, because I'm kind of coming back around. I think when you mentioned about go back like 2 years, a year, 18 months, and I felt that weight, and then I noticed straight away how to work with that. And I think that's why we're so blessed to have the tools that we have to be able to process through that. And then when you were asked, you know, immediately what comes, what's missing from self, the first thing that came to me was nature. And I do find this, maybe it's, I think it's definitely, it's like my soul loves being in nature. So when I'm in nature, it's just like, it's like a super booster, you know, kind of like super boost, supercharges all the other work that I'm doing. So I think it was a bit of I think my soul was giving me a bit of a nudge of, in order to help you with that, you know, maybe find a bit more time. And Hyacinth then gave some lovely guidance, you know, to find more time for myself in nature. And I just had come from a beautiful retreat this weekend where I was in nature a lot. And Hyacinth described the fact that I like being naked often. So she said, you know, you need to go run naked through the woods. And then my husband came in and was like, don't encourage her. She already will do it without your encouragement. Don't encourage her. So yeah, maybe I'm going to be going, and then my retreat's called the Naked Retreat. So I also will be like, I'm planning that already. So I'm already like, yeah, don't worry. There's lots of nakedness, lots of nature, lots of amazing healing to be done. But I just want to thank you all for holding this space. It's just been wonderful. And yeah, please encourage her. And I'm hoping my battery, the reason my camera's been off is the camera battery turned off. I'm hoping it lasts for the rest of the session. But thank you very much. It's been a wonderful space. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. That was great. I think you nailed it. And please jump in anytime that somebody wants to share. Nature for me really has saved my life. And it's the quiet space where I can hear God, you know, whatever that is for you. If maybe it's the river, maybe it's, you know, your faith, maybe it's the wind, you know, whatever it is. I live a very elemental life. And so it's the birds, the animals, the muskrat in the lake, the dock, the blue herons, the quiet, the stillness, the taking my breath away, lilies on the pads, right? It is where I hear who I am. It's where I'm reminded, right? It's like, just go out and lay my spine on the dock, lay my spine on the soil, you know, lay my spine in the water as I'm just kind of floating along. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It has literally saved my life. That's beautiful, Vicki. When I have a need for religion, I go into nature. Of course he did. Gango.
Oh, I'm going to share, but it was only mine's only going to be quick. My this question, actually, I'm going to tell you how the question actually just came to me when we was doing that. So it wasn't a pre-planned question. I was just like whispered in the ear. So I said to Donna, this is a question we need to ask. And actually for me, and the reason why I'm not even going to stay long with that question is because it's been coming up probably quite a bit to me. And it's about this time, just what needs integrating is actually just to be able to be me, all of me, all of the time. And that's it. Just be all of me, all of the time, rather than a bit here for a bit of the business and a bit here for these set of friends and another part here for people that might be into spiritual stuff and all that. So yeah, it's just about integrating my whole self, really. And I think I don't want to speak for what's happening for everybody around the world, but I just feel like the conversations I'm having with people, whether it's women or men, is all about where we are, where we fit, how we're integrating, how we've been, And actually what's really important to us when we're starting to get quiet and really start listening in, because it was so noisy, it really was so noisy before. A lot of us didn't spend enough time with ourselves really. Yeah, and I think when we do, my God, people are creating some amazing things, especially this last year. I've seen people really stepping into like their purpose, their calling and everything. So just feel like it's a really blessed divine time actually for all of us, and really thinking about these things in a much deeper way, rather than just kind of doing it for a bit and then getting on with daily life. Because what is daily life anyway? We're here for a purpose, I believe, anyway. Yeah, and I'm complete. Thank you, lovely ladies.
Well, I'll take it from here, Hyacinth, because it's like I've just been enjoying listening. And it makes me smile to think that our last lines, whoever speak, it brings it back to, you know, my whole self, or my whole holiness. I was in a group with Tina, breakout room, and we were both saying how the question sort of, we had to read it a couple of times just to really understand what it was asking. It's funny, we both did it, because I was like, oh, I read it to myself several times just to really, okay, what am I asking myself here? And then we talked about how we're allowing ourselves to go in and ask what wants to be said, like how we are so conditioned to not do that, or have been for a long time. And when you allow yourself, when you get to you, it's almost like that's all you need. That's all you need. And it was there all along. And so I was sharing with Tina how I want my girls to be able to know that it's there and to access it. Like, it's, someone needs to tell you, here it is, it's inside, go and access it, that deep knowing. And how powerful that makes you feel, how much love starts vibrating out to everyone else, just because you embrace yourself. And so I really want my girls to know that now. I don't want them to wait till their awakening years, you know? It's like, why? It's so beautiful. And to see them blossom from that space is something I want to enjoy too. Because, and it's not like, I was sharing with Tina, it's not like I have to teach this. It's by being it myself. I've allowed myself, and Hyacinth, you know, that is it. You know, we don't need to put more into us or them. It's just by being this way with them. I'm automatically giving them permission to be curious and go, oh, what's inside of me? Right? And then we share it with each other by the way we are with the relations we have with each other. So it was a difficult question, yet not. But it was good to go here and not here for the answer. So thank you.
In bringing it back to partnership and having that partnership within our own selves, I was involved with a group for some years, Braveheart Women Worldwide, and our motto was be, create, collaborate. And one of the things that really got to me throughout the time was I really discovered that the collaboration had to take place first within me in order for me to then create from the inside out, so that then I could actually be. So it was kind of the reverse. And Ellie discovered that too, and so it was really interesting, you know, women around the world learning how to be that. And so partnerism is the same way. How do I partner with myself? How can I ever partner with someone else if I'm not a good partner with myself, if I compromise myself, if I give myself away, if I reject myself? You know, and as you said, Tanya, you know, I must love myself wholly and completely, all those aspects. And then I can be love.
Stephanie or Tina or Betsy?
Okay, I will go. So I'm like Sarah. I didn't understand the question. I'm sorry. I had to look up the word because I knew what the meaning meant, but I had to see. I needed a spark because I'm too wrapped up, not in this, but in what was happening before I was able to join. But in listening to everybody else talking based on me and mine and Brush's conversation, for the longest time, I've been able to go not make plans for the future because I learned a long time ago, it makes no difference what plans I make. Somebody else has other plans that doesn't, mine are out the window. So, or a wrench gets thrown in them. So I stopped making plans for the future a way long time ago and go with the flow. So, but now listen, integration for me is the partnership with the self and coming to a reconciliation with my past and my present in order to move to that future. I see the future differently than I did when I was 20 because of my age. But it's not a bad thing. And I'm excited to see what the future is going to be. But also I've learned too, in healing that cellular and my own past, in the way I react to whatever's happening in my present and what's going on now. Because I got triggered by a number that I saw on my phone, but I was able to pull myself back and ground myself and take a breath and think it through and not panic, which is not normally what I would do. And so I feel that the way I'm reacting is helping to heal all kinds of things in my past that I'm not going to carry forward. But I've already had kids, so I already did their damage. But at the same time, you know, it's helping to heal my own self, my own cellular damage. You know what I'm saying? And I've always been me all of the time, but I get put down for that. So I've learned to be perfectly fine by myself. I'm never alone. And like you guys with nature, I grew up on a farm. They had to yell and ring the bell to get me to come home because they didn't know where I was on that farm. I could have been at the river. I could have been at the graveyard. I could have been across the road on the mountain. Here, I'm on 3 acres of woods. I'm surrounded by it, and it's a joy to go through there. Like today, I spooked a deer. She was right next to me, and I didn't even see her. And I heard her, but today I didn't get a chance to catch her. I do have pictures of her one day where we kept eye contact with each other, but I was able to walk by her. We have a little bunny that I have a tomato plant out there for her. So whenever she wants to come, she can have tomatoes. Oh, and the little deer, she's lucky I like her because she's eaten all of my lilies. So it's an adventure every day to go out there and just listen and see. And I've got little flowers blooming now, and just to see what's new every day. So, and to know that I'm part of that and I get to experience it. And it's, whole. That's where I'm whole. And I get validation that I'm okay. And y'all can think about me however you want, the people around me. I know how people think about me, and I know that they're wrong in that. I'm not going to fight with them because there's nothing I can say that's going to change your mind about it. But I'm good with me. And that's what matters. And I learned that from my mom. And would remember that Red Hat Society? Is that who those ladies who were very vibrant and said, we don't care anymore, let's just go do it. So it's been this past year, especially with the death of my boyfriend, has been very enlightening. So and exactly, Tanya, it is none of their business. And they will never understand who I am. And I told my daughter that you will never understand who I am, because I know who I am from way before you, and you will never know. When y'all start going through my stuff, then you might know, but now you'll never know. So anyway, that stick in the river, just moseying on along in the current. Right now, I'm just kind of flowing with the current. I haven't gotten stuck on a rock yet. I'm just kind of going with the current. So, but I know that these guys are part of that current with me. So I'm perfectly fine to be in with this little bundle of sticks down that river. So it's wonderful. I love you guys.
You're the best, Betsy. I love when you come, you're just like tearing it apart. Like, no, we've all been in our tearing it apart. We've all been on our tearing it apart. And then we get into that, like, okay, there went the rapids, right? And maybe my bum's a little scratched up a little bit. Mind your bum. And then, we look around, we're not the only stick floating down the river or scratching our bums or, scraping ourselves up. I can't tell you the amount of bruises I have, but I've been in the river, in the lake all week long. So I'm like, I'll take the bruises. Yeah, I love that, Betsy, right? Sometimes it takes the tenacity to just pull it apart and be the lioness, right? And be the lioness. And the lioness also gets to rest too.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing too, even though these people, and you guys will probably find it too, even though these people will say things about you because they don't understand who you are, you're also the first person that they will come to, or the first person that they know you can be counted on. And even then, and you're loyal, and even then they still don't get you. And they go, well, how can you still do that? And it's like, well, why wouldn't I? That's, it's just, anyway. But yeah.
Beautiful.
I feel like that tearing apart that you mentioned, Donna, is the disintegrating ourselves too. So, disintegrating that outer shell of what might appear to be what you're saying, Betsy, people think of us, and shaking that off and letting that go and really allowing that opening to arise in us anew every moment. Yeah. And I did like the composting that you spoke of, Donna. It's very helpful.
Well, Brescia mentioned that compost in the one lady's weave, when the lady, it was all brown, and but with the little bits of color, this was all the compost, but look how good this part of the, and that right there, like you were saying. And so I figure that by the time I die, my soul should be one gorgeous flower floating up to heaven for all the compost I've been been living in all my life. So screw lotuses. I'm the lotus now, but I'm going to be something else. I'm not sure, you know, whatever that goes into, those little flowers that bloom every few thousand years. But anyway, so yeah.
Any farmer will tell you the benefit of compost.
Oh, for sure.
And here's the thing. We can either take our experiences that are ready to be released and use them as compost, or we can stay in the pain of it. It's a choice. We all have this beautiful, amazing 6-lettered word that we just kind of shine over most of the time. Choice. Choose, choose, choose. Nobody wants it to be taken away. Choose. And if we don't, they will choose for us. If we don't, the world will choose for us. So we have about 6 minutes before we're going to wrap this up, but I would love to open it to Stephanie and Marcel, Tina, if you want to.
Yeah, to be fair, I just really wanted to say that I am lovingly overwhelmed. I've teared up about 3 or 4 times already. Like literally the sharing has really it's moved me, literally. I'm just lovingly overwhelmed. It's just been awesome. It's been an awesome experience. Thank you for holding space. I'm lovingly overwhelmed. Thank you all so much.
Wow, thank you. I think that's one of the most delightful things we can just hear and experience, because when you're lovingly overwhelmed, aren't we changing, right? Aren't we actually integrating into the change that's always present? Change is always present, right? And when we're present to presence, we're presence to change, or we're present to change. Because we're just always in that swirl. I don't know if you guys, I don't sit still very much, because I even sitting here, I'm moving my hip, I'm doing this, you know, I've got one little kink, but my body feels younger at 55 than it ever has, because I'm letting it move as and through me. And, you know, I feel 12, 13, 14, I don't know what's 55. I feel also wise, but, you know, also, I think it's that moment when you realize you don't know anything.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Even at this age, you're still learning. So, real quick, because we were talking about being the present, and I put this in my email. I think I did, because I know it's in my head. But you know the biblical thing of I am. Well, the I am, aside from being divinity, is also I am present. Not I was present, not I will be present. I am present. So being divine means being present. I am. I am me. I am who I am. I am present, and I'm good. And I might not be whole because I'm human, but I'm still divine. I am. So we got to remember, we're not, I'm not, where I am. So, and thank you, Stephanie. Yes, thank you for that. And I expect, I'm inviting, and I hope that we see all of you new ladies at future get-togethers, and stay in touch with us, because it's always a pleasure to see new women sharing with all of us, and knowing that you're part of our little river, part of that river, and you're not alone, you know, and you've got a lot to share with all of us, and we value everything you shared, and it helps us to grow. We're each other's compost. That's great. I am.
I would like to share as well. I haven't shared until now. I like the honesty of the group. It's good that we're open, and we're safe, and we're able to share with each other. Something that I've just come into the first time here, and I found it still is beautiful to be part of, and to, sorry, I find it difficult to find words. I forget words very easily nowadays. I never used to. I'm going through some trauma, so and it's affecting how I can even talk. So I do a lot of listening, actually. But it's just beautiful to be able to be whole and to be present, and to allow ourselves and myself to be raw as well, and to be me. Something that I've been doing for the last, actually since just before lockdown, here in the UK was March. Major change in my life, and I'm thinking more about me, where I never used to. I always used to think about others. I still do, it's still part of me, but it's really a refinding of me, and listening to my gut, and listening to my voice in my head, not the inner chatter, because that can really, drive you around the twist, but the inner self, and who you are, and who we're all part of as well, because we're, oh, sorry, my phone's just going, sorry.
No sorries, we get to be raw.
Sorry. I need to actually, it's all right. There's something that's, something major that's going on. Weird timing, very weird timing. Yeah, it's just good. It's just good to be able to be ourselves, and to speak freely, and to allow ourselves to be present, and to allow myself to be present too, but also to be in a group and to all feel comfortable and content and at peace, sharing with each other, even though we don't really know each other. So it's just so good to be a part of it, and to be part of you, and to share with you as well. So yeah, thank you very much for having this group, and for all of you being here, and and for all of us to share and be part of you. So yeah, thank you for this wonderful space and this wonderful time.
It's a privilege to hold the space. It's not just our pleasure, which obviously it is. It's a deep privilege that we have been gifted, given, presented with, invited into this space between our holiness. All of our holiness is connected here. And that is, we talk about empowerment. It's not about empowering another person. It's about being so present with your own light. I talk about the idea of being the lighthouse. The lighthouse's only job is to shine from the inside out. It doesn't go running into the harbor looking for ships. It stands in its stillness and its solidity, its sovereignty, and it minds its inside. It takes care, it takes out the cobwebs, the dust, and so it can shine all the way out. And that's what we are for each other. Is any of you have seen The Lord of the Rings, there is a moment where Gandalf finally gets that fire lit, and then down the valley, you see all the other lights coming on, right? That's what's happening right now with us as we gather and come together. Is at one point, it's like, oh, I went from being the lighthouse to recognizing I'm one light on a string of Christmas lights. Right? I'm not just the lighthouse. But because I knew I was a lighthouse, I could recognize I'm actually on a string of lights together. And everybody seems to be like, when I was in massage school, there was a device that my instructor held, and then we all held hands in a circle, and I was the last one to grab it. And when I grabbed it, because we had all held hands, it lit up like Thomas Edison, a light inside of it. And from that moment, you could see that kinetic connection between all of us. That's what we're doing right now. Whether my hand is touching you and we're touching a device, it matters not anymore, because the elevation of spirit energy on this planet and air energy on this planet is rising us up into our holiness. This is the second coming that they might talk about of consciousness, of connectivity, of, the second coming of remembering who we are. If I go into a biblical version of it, Jesus came and Muhammad came and Buddha came, and they said, hey, look at who we are. We're all this. We're all this. Everything I can do, you can do and more. We're all this, right? The second coming is a remembering of our own Christedness or our own energetic holiness as beings, right? So here we are. Let's get it on. I don't know if I would have thought ahead, I would have put some Marvin Gaye on, but I'm just going to dance it out myself because we're over time. But Marcel, I want to give you a chance to jump in. I don't care that we're over time because I'm good for a couple more minutes. But Marcel, please join us.
Oh, thanks, Donna. What a pleasure this is. What a wonderful group. It's just been a joy to listen to you all. I guess I chatted very briefly with Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. And I just wanted to say personally, I'm a little bit of a pragmatic person, so a lot of these questions are very new to me. Ask me what E equals MC squared is, and I could probably give you some information about it, but ask me what needs to be integrated in my life, and it's like, whoa. So I guess for me, I'm going to spend some time thinking about this, because it occurs to me that I know a lot about integrating myself to the outside world, aspects of the outside world. I don't really, I haven't really given any thought to what needs to be integrated either from outside or inside back into me. So that's going to be something I'll spend some time thinking about, because it's a very important question. So I thank you all very, very much. And again, it's been a real pleasure.
Marcel is our beautiful, super pragmatic, present staff at the Charter for Compassion, and she helps us with our webinars. And I just love, I want to invite everybody who's present into the conversation, no matter what your role is here. So I just love that. And thank you for listening to the conversation, Marcel. Well, I just want to lastly share with you, yesterday while Hyacinth and I were having a little powwow, a little gathering prior to this, she says, are you pulling cards? Because then I am a tarot reader and I always have a deck of cards in my hand. And I said, and one flew out, just flew right out. And this is a deck I don't often use, because it's Abraham, Esther, and Jerry Hicks money and the law of attraction cards, which somebody gifted to me. And I was like, oh, money, okay. Which has been in, I grew up poor. So I was like, oh, what's up with this deck? But I was just shuffling and one flew out yesterday, and it's like, wow, okay, we wanted to finish with this card. And the card is, I want to show you the image first. It's exactly the way I felt when I was rubbing my own belly speaking about the navel, and I didn't even recognize it until this moment, right? So look at that beautiful eye, right? The eye of ourselves coming out of the center of our navels. And the card says, I am always receiving the essence of what I am giving. I am always receiving the essence of what I am giving. So it behooves us to know who we are, does it not? Right? Appreciation and love and alignment to that which is source is the ultimate giving back, so to speak. For in your pain or struggle, you have nothing to give back. What you are living is always an exact replication of your vibrational patterns of thought. Nothing could be more fair than life as you are living it. For as you are thinking, you are vibrating, and as you are vibrating, you are attracting. And so you are always getting back the essence of what you are giving. And I want to just close with saying it's okay to be in the dis-ease as you transition and work through and process to the ease. Don't make yourself wrong for having a bad thought or a bad day or a bad this. It's an invitation to compost yet more, right? It's an invitation to go into the grief, to go into the feelings, to go into the all of it, right? And so we are. And so we are, and so we are, and so we are. And as long as we are present. And then our next best step presents itself. Our next best step, not 10 years later, our next best step presents itself as it presents, as we receive and as we listen. As we listen. Okay. So Brenda, thank you for sharing that. I can't put that on.
Thank you. Thank you for trying that, Marcel. Well, that was spontaneous. So
Sorry about that.
That's all right. So I was in a session and asking the universe, why is it that the word war spelled backwards is raw? And the universe explained that until you humans allow yourselves to feel raw emotion, you will have war within yourselves, and therefore you will have war outside of yourselves. And so often we, as humans, most, not all, but most humans really do try to control their anger and their angst and their frustration and their sadness. And we tuck it down into the cellular memory. And then what happens? Somebody comes along and pushes a button and we explode, right? That's that reaction, and that's that post-traumatic stress and even, subtle trauma that's in all of us. And so when we go inside to this partnership that we're talking about and really going in and loving all aspects of ourselves and allowing ourselves to feel that raw emotion, and allow it to come up with, like Pele and, Hawaii, and, just really allow the volcanoes to explode, then we'll be sharing that so that we clear away the space so that the light comes through. And so then there won't be any war inside ourselves, and therefore we will be in peace. So thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Brenda.
Love that.
Yeah. Well, ladies, we've run deliciously over, which I love. And yeah, I'm going to think about, I love the idea of just continuing to gather. Like Tina, you brought that forward. I was like, oh, it felt to me nourishing to have moments with each other. And so after this, we'll have conversations with our group, but you are always welcome to join us. You're always welcome to come to our Monday meetings and get involved and help us co-create this new narrative, right? We've got 5, 6, 7 of us, and more is more is more is more. Let the lights light, right? Let us become a lit and keep this Christmas lights going, or string of lights or whatever, and just wrap us up in all this love and our own lightness of being. So thank you. We'll send out the recording with a follow-up and more invitations, and we'll be talking in our next sessions about safety, right? It's a partnership for a safe and a sacred now is the initiative that we're working on, and we'll roll out the dates in our follow-up email with the recording. And so in order to have partnership, we need to have safety, and that will gift us sacredness, and also remembering our sacredness helps to integrate the safety and the partnership. So that's our initiative this year, and where we're going and what we're talking about and what we're co-creating together. So please feel free, you're always welcome.
And that invitation is open to Vicky and Tanya and Stephanie. So just so you know, we're here for each other, and we're a garden, and the world needs more gardens. So, and that's what we're doing. And we're beautiful weeds in a garden, feeding it off of each other's compost. So I look forward to seeing everybody again.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Already blessed. So go sink into it